SEO, we Mr. Shawty, put it on me. Please, I be going ham. Shorty upgrade from bologna. Please. Tipping good, girl, but I can make it flush. Cause I walk around with pockets that are bigger than my butts. Whoa! Rain, rain, go away. That's what all my haters say. My pocket's stuck on overload. My rain never evaporates. No need to elaborate. Most of these ducks exaggerate. But I'ma get money from my hair that's coming. Ducks might get a chance after me. Girl, the way you move it, got me in a trance. You can't tell me that. It's so clean.
Hello everyone, CD Racing here, and welcome in for episode 3 of our Midnight Club 3 playthrough. And we are here in the Scion, already in action. Where are we going? To tackle the man, the myth, the maniac, Phil. This, by far, is going to be the hardest challenge of San Diego. I don't care who you are. Early game, Phil is by far the hardest person to beat. And why am I trying to face the hardest person in San Diego in a Scion TC? Because no one told me that I shouldn't. So here we are, ambitious, optimistic, and probably going to be humbled by a ridiculously fast car. The racer is obviously respectable. He's an absolute maniac for taking a chopper through the streets of San Diego. Look at him. Look at him.
He's just standing there, menacingly!
Yeah, for this stage of the game, Phil is an Avengers level threat. So we're going to see how well this goes, how many tries it takes us. Meeting him to the race, you can tell immediately he might be drunk. I was going to compliment this guy, but okay, let's just meet you at the race. All right, so Phil race 1, and...
Oh, Neptune.
Yeah, you thought Phil was hard because he's on a chopper? No, it's because this early in the game, he's rolling with souped-up Class C muscle cars. How this is fair? Beyond me, but we're gonna try it anyways. Can't use our usual strat of drafting off of Phil, but luckily the cars he races with are so quick that we can just draft off them immediately. Probably gonna be the only way we have even the slightest hope of beating these guys, because the top speed on this TC is nowhere near the apparent rocket ship that is in that Pontiac Judge. We'll see if we can catch back up. Oh my God, I think he just murdered a family of 4. That's our win condition. There we go. High speed, high jumps, high stakes. We'll see how the rest of this race plays out. Already a couple wrecks. Typical Midnight Club chaos. Wow, I get so excited recording these videos that my ability to speak English just gets yeeted out the window. We're going to go for the big jump, strictly for style points. I don't think this is the fastest route around this track at all, but look at the views. Isn't that sick? Totally didn't do that on purpose so that the edits for the intros can be a little bit cooler. But I digress. We still have a race to win. Another judge in the way of our victory. The top speed on these things is absolutely insane, but the handling of the Scion is where we shine. I can just keep my foot pinned to the floor and throw the car around these corners, and it doesn't really fight back, which is cool. I just had an epiphany. I've been playing Gran Turismo 3 on the wheel, and if it works with the PlayStation 2, do you think we could play Midnight Club on the wheel? We might have to try that out next time we record, as if this game wasn't already hard and ridiculous enough. Another edit shot for the keen-eyed individuals. Yes, this race in particular had a lot of huge jumps. It's a shame that we're in the slowest car in the game. It shows pretty well, too, against these judges. We're just going to sit back here waiting for our moment. Only a couple more checkpoints and 2 major turns. Do we have the speed through the corners to catch back up? Right here. Already passing one of them, a major spin out from the first judge. Second judge, get the slipstream, have the patience to hold it until it lights up for us, and then get shoved into a wall. We'll see what happens. There's still a little bit of race left, a couple checkpoints to go, and Midnight Club, the race is never over. We might even get past here on the way to the final checkpoint. No, it's looking pretty unlikely. We have one more draft. Fly past the judge, fly past Phil. Oh my God, we brought it back. There it is, race 1, first place in the most dire of circumstances. That's what I'm talking about. Race 2, Renegade. Don't remember the track at all. Don't remember how this goes because I recorded this quite a while ago. So, do we win? Do we lose? Do we take out an entire city block in an attempt to overtake someone on a chopper? We'll find out right now. Peak Midnight Club shenanigans. Lining up at the front of the pack. Very tight entryway. More muscle cars behind us that I can't see. Love not knowing who I'm racing against. Hands go down. Flags go down. Cars get out of there. Not my best start. All right, I'll have a while to go before I'm a race commentator. But off to the pretty decent start, considering the fact that our competition should be flying away from us. We're just gonna cheese the slipstream as much as we can. And honestly, I should stop being as nice. You saw right there, I took a little bit of avoiding action to not hit Phil, and I should have just hit him. With how crazy and tight these races, oh my God, what do we? You know what? I need to stop being so nice. Look at this. Every time I have an opportunity, I just lose, and then the momentum is lost. Let's just restart this. All right, take 2. Notes taken, ops obtained. Off to a solid start, much better than the first time. Apparently that route, ditching the off-ramp and just going through the gas, or the grass, is a little bit slower. Looks like we're out in first now. I spoke way too soon. An advantage of the motorcycles, for those of you that are watching that don't know, motorcycles in this game can draft off of cars and get the slipstream turbo that we've been using, but they can't be drafted off of. So, if you've got a motorcycle behind you, the threat is almost doubled because they can draft off you very quickly, and then when you try to slingshot back around to them, nothing's going to happen. Now, lucky for us, we got a big body Bertha Camaro in front of us, so we're just going to slipstream that all day long. We're basically going to have to chain these things together to have a hope of keeping up with these cars, because races like this where there's a lot of straight lines in a row, we're going to get out top sped. The cars that we're racing are faster than us, and if we don't bounce our slipstreams, it's going to end up poorly every time. Dodging traffic right there. Very close to T-boning that car, but we get away from it unscathed. Back through the theme park. Do we get to jump off of the roller coaster again? No, we do not. Unfortunately not. This Camaro seems like he's our biggest competition and simultaneously our only ticket to victory. I think that's what, the 4th time that we've gotten the turbo off of him. Just this race. Another section through the, I guess these are apartments on the beach. I've never been to San Diego, so someone correct me if I'm wrong. But finally using, oh my God, finally starting to use our nitrous, and we T-bone a minivan. If that isn't peak Midnight Club things, I don't know what is. Driving around this corner, another slipstream turbo off of a different Camaro, back onto the highway. We're going to have to hope that we can get another one because he is just pulling away from us right now. Dodging through the traffic. Mentioned it in the previous episode, I love the Midnight Club. Went ahead and added more traffic to the highway races when you're actually racing here. I know the PlayStation had a really hard time rendering more than like 13 cars at once. So when you're on these highway races and it feels like there's at least a little bit of traffic, it's pretty cool. Back off of the highway. As soon as there's a straight line, look who comes creeping. Yes, these guys are ridiculously fast. Slot block behind one. Didn't see the turn coming because I was busy trying to hit the slipstream. That guy spins out from just pure power, I guess. And another turbo slingshots us back to the front. Always dodging traffic. It's high speed through these sections. I got one more checkpoint to go before the finish line, and oh my God, what happened back there? Saved by Jesus himself, because they were all coming up on me, no diddy. And that is another victory in our second race. Second try for the second race. We will take that. Given how hard these races can be early game, I'm glad that they're going this well. And we have been rewarded for our persistence to beating this guy in technically the slowest car in the game. Class C vehicles have been shipped to the garage. I love this part. We're going to rapid fire rank these things as they come in. SC430, goated. H2, terrible. 350Z, not bad. 68 G20, solid. El Camino, mid. El Diablo Softail, terrible. Escalade, terrible. CFL, it's all right. 96 Impala, great, but no customization. Charger, epic. Phaeton, never used it. 98 Supra, overrated. Elise, awesome, can't customize it. Lancer, awesome. G500, never owned it. CL500, pretty solid. 70 Chevelle, awesome muscle car. El Dorado, goated, won't ask why. We're going to skip the Infinity. SSR is trash. 01 Super Hemi never existed. Yukon Denali was all right. XLR is solid only in video games. And that's all of them. Damn, how was that? Where's my auctioneer application? So you'll notice now that we're loading in for race 4 of 4 instead of the third race. We're skipping the third race for a couple of reasons. One, not only did it take me like 12 tries, but the race that I actually won was an absolute snooze fest. The AI just shat themselves at the starting line, and it was clear sailing to the finish. So, race 4 of 4 to take down Phil and win the chopper for ourselves. there's a sign that says cliffs in front of us. No further clarification, just cliffs. So obviously we're going to drive straight for that. In between the two access roads to hit the sick jump and get the speed boost. Now, I just noticed right there, I think the boost only works if your wheels are touching the ground, because I hit that midair and my car seems like it went nowhere. Sideswipe a car on behind this Impala does not take that corner well, so we're going to slot around him. We are now third out of fifth. Phil passes us around the outside for I had to stop talking because I did not know how that was going to end. Hit the slipstream through the tunnel, over a car, splitting the traffic. Back into second place now. I'm not sure who is technically leading this race. If you look at the minimap, the cars are all over the place, and I don't know how Midnight Club judges true position. So we join back third-ish, maybe fourth. Currently fighting a split bumper Camaro that removed the split bumper. We're going to go ahead and slot behind, hit the slipstream turbo, fly around him. I opted not to follow Phil because the car I can draft off of. If I had stayed behind the motorcycle, we would have gained absolutely nothing, and he looks like he had a pretty crazy jump anyways. Top speed has been a terrible problem this entire series, and that's not changing in this race. You see that guy in front of us just pulling away the second we have free space. See if we can get the slipstream, and the car in front of us pulls away so quickly we can't even get the slipstream first. We do have our nitrous. We're going to use it getting onto the highway, get behind these guys, spam the turbo. Do we hit the 3-time? No. Opting to avoid traffic, taking the slightly less risky route back onto the surface streets, duck into the alley. There's a car in front of us. Oh my God, did we get the slipstream turbo? Can we make it 2 epic finishes this race? Neck and neck down the alleyways. Do we get in front of him for the finish line, cut him off, and finish in first? Look at that. Sarah with a close race, 2/10 of a second separating us at the finish line there. That was great. Look at that. Drywall. Speaking of drywall, if y'all been playing Forza Horizon 6, tap in with SRS drywall work. Add me, play with me. And when I'm not filming, recording, or doing school or working, I somehow find time to play Forza Horizon 6. So if y'all want to link up on that, add me. If I'm on, I'm on. Y'all can invite me whenever. But moving forward with Midnight Club, we've got a decision to make. What Class C vehicle are we going to buy? You'll notice we have $109,000. I sold the chopper. At this stage in the game, we don't really need it, and I don't feel like doing the chopper races right now. So we're going to go ahead and buy a level 2 tuner to hopefully never have to race the Scion again. I know we didn't own it for very long, but I kind of forgot that you unlock Class C vehicles this early in the game, and we've got a decision to make. The Supra, like I said, I probably won't buy it out of principle because I think it is an incredibly overrated car, and the Elise is so good, and the handling is absolutely ridiculous, but the complete lack of customization makes it a little boring. And because this is a playthrough I'm putting on YouTube and it has to have a little bit of fun, I think we're going to go with the 350. The customization options are definitely there. I've never owned one of these in Midnight Club, so we'll see how it races. And I think the customization possibilities are pretty solid. However, we are not done. We're going to make a couple of modifications in the garage just real quick to get our funds back up. The Scion TC, its purpose and work were very short-lived, but it did them exceptionally. And there's a chance that we might get another D-Class tuner in the garage when we go to a later location. I won't spoil that just yet. And the Impala, another short stint already done for. An almost $30,000 payday to get that out. And you know what that means. Class C muscle cars. I said it before, the 96 Impala is cool, but you can't customize anything other than the rims. That's not cool. The El Dorado, it exists for sure, and it's kind of funny. The El Camino, stats-wise, I don't really see why you'd ever take this other than straight up personal preference. When you see the decision I'm going to make, and if you remember the intro, you'll know I shouldn't talk about anything that makes sense. 70 Chevelle. Every single time I played through this game with my brother, this vehicle was purchased because it's incredible. It's so fast, but it kind of feels like cheating, and I've done it before. Charger RT, similar to the Chevelle, just a little bit worse all around in my opinion. And the 68 GTO. For the stats, it's not worth $42,000. Again, if you're buying this car, I'm assuming it's personal preference. These were pretty hot. I like these cars, nothing against them, but let's just buy something stupid. A 70 El Dorado, for the love of the game, if you will. Now, we're going to go ahead and just speed run both of these builds. We're going to showcase them right now. And you can hate all you want, You can't tell me if this wasn't rear-wheel drive, you wouldn't mob the shit out of it. Now, I didn't even realize until I drove it for the first time that it is front-wheel drive, which, given the body lines of the car, is just terrible that Cadillac did that. But I digress. I think this thing's pretty sweet. I know it's ridiculous. Obviously, it's on gold Daytons with gold trims and a wing and louvers. I'm aware of what's happening here. But I think it's kind of sick, right? You gotta let your imagination flow every now and then. So, 350, we'll get a quick comparison of the base model, and then what do we think? I think this one came out a lot less ridiculous, per se. I'm not going to say OEM Plus because it's got a whole livery and a big wang, but it's still relatively tasteful, which is hard to do in these games. Most of these tuner customization options, it's either ridiculous plastic Bomex or stock. So I'm glad with how this build came out. You'll notice I'm liking the cream matte color. Don't know why, but we've got something to do. A game-changing thing to do. Yes, the Unbeatable Street Racers. Okay. Besides us hitting a minivan, you might have noticed that Vanessa is ready for round 2. That is not as big a threat as you would think. She just takes that Eclipse, makes it a little bit faster, but at the end of the day, it's still an Eclipse, and she's still up. Alright, so as I was saying, the tuners, more specifically the Unbeatable Street Racers, more apparently the Golf Club of America. I didn't understand that you needed an R32 Golf to race in the series, but regardless, this racing series, of which there are 13 races, are very huge for our playthrough, because if you win the first 3, you unlock an ability for the sports cars and sports bikes called Zone. And if you don't know what that is, it is the biggest get-out-of-jail-free card in the entire Midnight Club series. Essentially, time slows down to like a fifth of regular time, and your car gains what seems to be infinite grip. And like I said, it's a massive get-out-of-jail-free card. So we're going to do something crazy in this playthrough, like try to beat the game in only Class C vehicles or something like that. Zone is going to be damn near a necessity. So that's what we're doing early, get it out of the way. I plan on beating the Unbeatable Street Racers anyways, because tuners are by far my favorite class of car, so I want to have all the cosmetic upgrades. And it's free money. Towards the end, you get quite a bit of coin for beating all of these races. And I'll try and spread them out. I'm not going to do all 13 in San Diego, but for now, just run into an apartment complex. That's obviously our goal here. You gotta remember, as I really struggle to get through these alleys, with any sort of cleanliness, this is a bone stock 350. We unlocked the C-Class vehicles, and I was very excited to use them, but we have 0 upgrades for them. I can't even put tires on this thing, so I am struggling quite a bit, which is why we're actually getting absolutely botched by these Golfs right now. I'm assuming these guys are fully level 1 maxed out, maybe even some level 2 upgrades. Regardless, they are quick. As I say that, no idea what happened to the guy in front. He just completely slammed on his brakes and changed the course of direction, and we take that overtake all day, every day, twice on Sundays. 2 more checkpoints to go. Big air off the, oh my god, big air off the roller coaster into almost getting T-boned ourselves. What a change of direction. Coming towards the end of the race here, probably the most damage I've accrued on a vehicle over the course of a race, and it's only the first one. But that is first place in the first race. We're only going to do 3. I'm only here for Zone, and then I'm out of here.
So I just gotta pick on my cousin, and I'm out of here.
All right, so race 2 of the Unbeatable Street Racers seem pretty beatable to me so far, but we'll see if that changes. Shotgun is the name of this race. I do not know why. And apparently we've gone from the Golf Club to the IS 300 Club. Pretty solid car, I cannot lie. If we get level 2 upgrades for D-Class before level 1 for C, we might already sell the 350Z and just build an IS 300 because they're just ridiculously quick. Get the draft early. We're going to do that damn near every race, and I don't feel bad about it. This game gets hard. Speaking of getting hard, let's rephrase that. Speaking of the game getting a little bit more difficult, the cops are on us. And to make it worse, it's a bike cop. These guys don't give up, and in real life, if you get pulled over by a bike cop, there's a 6,000,000% that you're getting a ticket, because I don't know why they're so angry, but it makes me have a lot easier time absolutely wrecking them out of my way. You see, he's really committed to taking me out. None of that. Get out of here. He's gone. Competition's gone. First place already with quite the gap to second place. That's how we shut it out. And believe it or not, we maintained first place the rest of the race. No competition. I'll let it load in to see just how far behind these guys were. But yes, 6 seconds behind us, and they caught up towards the end. I promise you, that was a very boring race. That is race 2 out of the way. Race 3 to come, and we definitely made up for the fact that the first 2 races were a little bit of a breeze. We're going to do a little bit of a rundown as to what went wrong. This race actually ended up taking me about 5 tries, and 2 of them back-to-back ended absolutely tragically. So we're going to hop on board. This is the end of the first race, leading the entire time. 1 checkpoint to go. IS300 comes out of nowhere, swipes it at the line. That one was upsetting. The next race, first lap, first corner, Scion TC hits the nitrous. I turbo off of him. For reasons I can't explain, he just sends me into a wall and I never recovered. Now, this is the final attempt. Let's see how it goes. Off the line, a lot of people. 4 wide off the rip is always a recipe for chaos. So I, of course, let them go, hit my turbo, and proceed accordingly. And we're going to hit a pretty nutty line to win this race. I did it 6 times, so I would hope that I understand the layout of the track now. But I'm going to be top speed almost the entire race. Again, we are in a bone stock Nissan, so it's kind of like 160 is the fastest we're going to get without any nitrates. And these D-Class cars with some upgrades, they're right on us. I expected it to be the opposite of last series, where the muscle cars had more speed and we have to rely on the turns. But here, the turns are scary. They catch up very quickly. You see, as soon as there's the first real turn in the map, I'm hitting the nitrous. And it's a circuit race, so we get it back. We get 2 get out of jail free cards, and we're going to use all of them. Trust me, you see me taking almost a legitimate racing line through this track right now, trying to minimize steering as much as possible, just keep the top speed up. Never thought I'd see the day where I'd be sweating in Midnight Club in 2026, but I really forgot how difficult this game is. I have no idea how all of us were playing this with OG PlayStation 2 graphics and the incredibly laggy DualShock 2 controllers. I don't care that you plugged them directly into the console, they were still very slow. Playing this game on an Xbox controller, even over Bluetooth, feels a million times snappier than what we were playing with back then. So how anyone beat that game, I guess we were all built different back then. CDR, first place. My alter ego spelt incredibly incorrect. Second place, and the rest of the race finishes out in an apparent pile. I don't think anyone told those guys they can go somewhere else. But that's race 3 out of 3. We are in the zone, and we have acquired a zone. Yes, we are now available basically to just win the entire game. And with that added buff and confidence, oh god, it's raining. I was just about to say that we can do something incredible here, but we are in a rear-wheel drive car in the rain, and we're going to handle, or tackle that is, the city tournament for the IS300. Yeah, I took it amongst myself to say, you know what? I want it. I've used it every time I played this game, and it's probably not going to change. If these cars were incredibly overpriced in real life, I would own one. But people are convinced that they're worth 30 grand, and they're just not. But Autocross event in the stock 350, not the greatest recipe for success, but it ends up working out. And these Autocross races are very quick, so I'm just going to showcase the winning laps here. One thing I did not know is that the weather in these Autocross events is apparently linked to what's happening in the real world, because I did not expect to tackle this in the rain. Yet here we are, showcasing immediately 0 brakes, 0 grip. You do have to drift these corners if you want to succeed, at least in the rain. No one ever said that Midnight Club 3 has great driving physics, but I will say in the rain, it's really bad. Look at that. There's 0 grip just sliding, but you have grip in the initial send into a corner, but then the second you actually lose traction, you're just skating, and it feels very weird. But we make it work. Apparently the AI can't cope with it very well either. That's the first race down. Second race of the Autocross event. Pretty cool track. It's over on the first lap, which is, I mean, not to brag or anything, but as soon as it stops raining, I don't even need a flying lap. Just send me off the line and I will win it. I wanted so bad to hit a drift throughout that entire corner, but I guess that's only possible in the rain. First lap out, we are almost 4 seconds up on the expected time. Dude, that's a CD Racing staple. As soon as I talk well about myself, we are going to smack into something. But it doesn't matter. We end up cheesing this one on the first lap by quite a big margin. I don't really know what the AI found so difficult about this track in particular, but we just absolutely bossed that one first try. And then third race did take us 2 laps, unfortunately. You see the first one down by almost 5 seconds. I bragged about winning the first one off the line and the last one, and we're going to use that as an excuse in this one. We're going to say that they had a flying lap. It's only fair that we get one as well. And this particular autocross race is damage out central if you are not the best at slowing the car down. And it looks like I'm not either. You can rack up damage pretty quick over the course of this race by just smacking all of these walls or any of the autocross events. And it's a very underrated part of what makes these so difficult, especially later in the game. When there are some people driving very fast cars, these autocross tournaments get ridiculously difficult. And I kind of wish there were more. I know Midnight Club is all about street racing, but these shut down street sections where you're just racing purely on time, they're really fun. You see right there, barely beat the target time, even on the second lap. They step it up when they need to. Ben keeping us on our toes, but unfortunately, we win. Well, unfortunately for Ben. Fortunately for us, we got $5,000 and a brand new Lexus, and we didn't even have to get run over. Shout out John Ralphio. We're going to see what we can do to this Lexus. We're probably not going to race it in this episode because I've got big plans. And speaking of big, there's a particular Big Bertha that we pimped out earlier that is definitely going to get some track time. So let's go ahead and hop into that. And you'll see right now, front wheel drive lunacy. This is what we're here for. This car is absolutely ridiculous. And it's also ridiculously loud. For the rest of the footage in this particular video, I had to turn it down by like another 20% because this car is just stupid loud. You would think that it's just dumped straight past the headers all the way out the back with how loud this car is. But I will say one thing, it scoots. When you finally get this thing up to speed, it is actually ridiculously fast for the stage in the game, but you can see slowing it down to getting it to turn is not the easiest thing to do. So we'll see how this goes. Vanessa usually runs with tuners, and you can see the car's been upgraded. She got a hood, she lowered it. The front tires are ridiculously thick, which I guess makes sense. It is a front-wheel drive car. Now that I think about it, does the width of your tires actually affect grip? Because I built this car thinking that it was rear-wheel drive, and if that's so, my tires are backwards right now. So, first race, how does it go? Launching behind Vanessa, we're going to do the cheese strat as always, especially in this car. Once we get it going, we are gone. Look at that, absolutely flying through the streets right now. Oh my God! Holy shit, that was an insane head-on collision between two of the NPCs right there. I haven't mentioned in a while, but yeah, the NPCs in Midnight Club are a threat on their own. And not just to you. I don't know how they coded these things. This must have been the test run for GTA 5 NPCs who just constantly run into you whenever possible because these guys are insane. At the moment, sliding Big Bertha pretty well. That's what I'm officially going to name this vehicle unless someone thinks of something better. It's an El Dorado. There's probably a little play on words there that I'm not thinking of, but what I am thinking of is the fact that I just absolutely obliterated that family of four. Poor guys, but we're going to keep it going. Vanessa is strong behind, or was. I don't know what just happened there. I think she hit one of the poles in the parking garage. She ain't got the moves like we do, and we're going to keep it trucking along. Look at this, split the roadblock. Is that where those two cars just got into a head-on collision, or is that a different accident between brown sedans? It's a bad day to drive a poop-colored Camry in San Diego because these guys are getting destroyed. Pretty big gap right now in between us and the other racers. You see, this car just sits at about 100 and 150. Oh, wow. You know, I was saying this thing is faster. I think it's actually slower than the 350Z. So right now, we're just racing this thing purely for shits and giggles, I guess, is the only reason that we're actually driving this thing. If we get enough people down below who are on board with the idea, unnecessary risk there going into the mall, trying to get the shortcut, ends up slowing us down. You see someone catching up behind us right now. We're going to hope that they do not win this. We still have the nitrous. Our get-out-of-jail-free card is very much so intact. One more turn to go. I think we can cut this across the baseball stadium, if I'm not mistaken. There's going to be an entrance right here on our right. Yes. Neck and neck with an Evo. He's right behind us. He might get the slipstream, but we've got the nitrous. Keep that going, and just like this, first race with Vanessa is done in Big Bertha. And as I was saying, if enough people are on board with it, we will try to beat this game in some of the worst vehicles, albeit the worst vehicle per class, maybe nothing quicker than a Class C, like the El Dorado and the Scion all the way. We'll see how impossible it is. But for now, Race 2, Rupture, a lot of money on the line. Nah, not really, $1,900. Most of our funds has come from the fact that we sell almost every vehicle that we win. I'm sure the event coordinators are pissed to see Marketplace a day after we win a tournament because we are moving product. Lightweight is not something that we have the luxury of right now. And it is raining once again. Heavyweight front-wheel drive El Dorado in the rain. Surely this is going to go well, right? Lights go down. Looking for the slipstream turbo in the alleyways, it was an interesting choice by me, but speed is speed, and we need all that we can get. So early goings here, a little bit of an advantage. We're going to try our absolute hardest to not just absolutely send it into a wall the second we have to change direction. You see the understeer is terrible. Class C cars coming in front of us now. That little Nissan hatchback, I've never done in a playthrough. I was just talking about maybe doing some of the worst cars. I don't know if that one's bad, but I've never used it before, and it's still Class C. So if we venture to Japan, which I believe is how we unlock that thing, we're going to use it, absolutely. And we are already at the end of this race. This was very quick, and there it is, us hitting a bus. Keanu Reeves in Speed, but that would have been a terrible end to the movie. Attempt 2, hopefully less murder and a lot more money. We'll see how it goes. The alleyways, they're going to be the downfall of us all, I promise y'all. Off the launch, once again, we're going to go for the slipstream because the speed is just too much. If we lose too much ground and we can't get back in the slipstream of these other cars, there's a 0% chance that we come back and win it. So back-to-back off the 350, shoots us at 175, hauling ass along the beach right now. Could you imagine leaving your apartment to see an El Dorado doing 175 miles an hour 6 feet away from your door? I would be convinced that I was in the afterlife. There's no way that you could convince me that's real life. But this is Midnight Club. A crossover from the 350. I noticed last time we lost so much speed from the jump and opted not to take it, and I think the 350 took himself out in an attempt to take it. So, looks like we made the right choice. Very quick race that race 2 was. You see someone creeping up behind us as we ducked into the alley right there. Oh my god. Barely making the entrance to that alleyway. But we ended up getting it down anyways. Vanessa repping herself in the race. They don't often win these things. That's a thumbnail moment if I've ever seen one. You're going to see that one in the front of the video. Also, race 3 coming up. Now, this is the part where I would usually just skip to the next race, but take a look at this. Oh yeah, I told y'all we had a plan. I remember this part of the game. We do get level 2 upgrades for the D class before we get level 1 for the C. So, even if we attempt to beat the game in C class cars, we're going to be rocking, let me choose how I word this. We're going to be using D-class vehicles for a while. That's what I'll stick with. Hide and Seek, Race 3. I don't know what that could mean for a car race. I'm actually kind of scared. But, is that a GTR? We're going to lose. Oh my god, this is terrible. Forget the Eclipse. Forget the El Dorado. The Lancer is okay. But the GTR? I don't know, man. That's a threat, for sure. And this is a part that a lot of the fanboys aren't ready to hear, but in real life, if I'm street racing, I'm taking the Evo over the GTR every day of the week, and y'all can cry me a river. Every single iteration of the GTR is incredibly overrated. The cars aren't terrible, but they're not the godsend that people claim them to be, and also, the R33 is the best. Argue with the wall. I don't care. But y'all can let me know how y'all feel about that down in the comments. What I feel about what I'm looking at is that cars are crashing all over the place. Second place at the moment. The start of that race was a little chaotic, but we got through it. Chugging along through the streets in a very hazy night in San Diego. I don't even think this is regular PlayStation 2 fog. I think there's like some sort of foggy weather effect going on right now. And whoever is in first place, they are gone. There's another, I think that's the GTR that just passed us. And you see it again, just absolutely leaving us in the dust. We're going to take a very tight turn right here. Get ready to send it in. The car's front-wheel drive. So I tried to adjust for the understeer and came through pretty quick. We actually maintained a lot of speed right there. I should take a note to take the corner like that every time we attempt it for the rest, because, spoiler alert, I don't win on this race, and yeah, there it is. So let's just go ahead, restart that one. Cold Veins by Noisa playing. You can see me shuffling through a couple song choices. You guys probably can't hear it. Unfortunately, even the background music in this game gets heavily copyright restricted. Last video, believe it or not, the intro was not the reason that video got copyright struck. It was the fact that Real Big by Manny Fresh played in the background of a race underneath voice commentary. UMG copyright struck that before the video even went live. I don't know what kind of AI they're using to catch songs over UMG, but they are strict with it. So, noted, don't use their songs anymore. We'll see how this one does. And speaking how this one does, this race looking slightly more promising. We took a different route. I didn't show it on camera, but this is like my 8th attempt at this race. This one took me way too long. I'm going to chalk it up to the fact that we're racing Lancers and GTRs in an El Dorado, so I'm not going to beat myself up too much. But right now, we've got a little bit of a gap, and you'll notice that I use the nitrous right now. I've said before that I usually save the nitrous unless I crash, but right here, not only is this car so fast, but if you're losing by more than like 2 seconds going into this corner, which I just took fantastically, if I'm not going to toot my own horn, but if you took that corner poorly, the race was over. I learned that 6 races in a row. I would slide into that wall too hard, lose my momentum, and just watch these guys rocket ship into the distance. And speaking of, oh my God, I thought it was over. He weaves to avoid the train, and we get a get out of jail free card. I should not have won this race. Well, hold on, it's not over. There's a lot of very close lights in our rearview mirror. Get this guy out of here, slam into a wall. I am not losing again. Absolutely not. First place, get it out of here. That is Vanessa completely dealt with, which means we have technically beaten San Diego. Now, there's a lot here late game, but as far as progression goes, we can go forward. And we know that because we just got the San Diego police car and level 1 upgrades for Class C vehicles. So the El Dorado is going to be not as useless anymore. And the IS300 is probably going to get equipped with level 2. And that's going to be our garage going forward for at least a little bit. But the big thing, if we've beaten San Diego, that means that we have unlocked another garage. Where is that garage? That's a question that we're going to have to answer in the next episode, because that is the end. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed another episode of our Midnight Club playthrough. I know we keep it a lot more lighthearted on this side of the playthrough section compared to our Dirt Rally and Gran Turismo playthroughs. So I have fun making these. I absolutely love this game. I'm really enjoying not taking it seriously at all. I mean, I'm driving a white and gold El Dorado with bull horns on it. You can tell I'm not trying that hard, but I'm having a lot of fun. If you guys are enjoying the series, feel free to let me know. As always, car recommendations, let me know down below. I appreciate you guys for tuning into this video, and for those of you that made it all the way to the end, go ahead and give me a nickname for the car besides Big Bertha if you made it to the end of the video, and I'll, as always, show you some love in the comments. So, thank you guys for making it to the end of the video. If you liked it, feel free to heel toe that like and subscribe combo, and as always, I will see you in the next one.